Yo, what up, everybody? I know I'm a little late, but I'm going to talk about UFC 247. The main event had a lot of controversy, and, it's time to talk about it. So, in my prediction video, I said that the champions were both going to retain, and I had Shevchenko by fourth round submission. She did wound up winning, and she did wound up finishing the fight, so, that's good on that prediction. Obviously I'm not going to be exact because nobody really knows what's going on in the fights, but I mean, she won and she won by finish, so cool. Feather in my cap. Cool. But what we need to talk about is how I feel, even though I picked Jones, that I was wrong, because I was watching this fight with Reyes and Jones. And, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I picked Jones by second round, ground and pound TKO. And that's not what happened at all. The fight starts. I think Dominic Reyes definitely won the first round. And then the second round comes. That round was close. In live action time, I didn't really know who to give that round to. But before the third round started, I decided that I was going to give that round to Reyes. So I had Reyes up 2. Then we go into the third round, and I thought that was another round for Dominic Reyes. I thought he was up 3-0, which was not expected at all. But there was a part of me that felt like, deep waters. Jon Jones is a champion. Jon Jones is definitely going to be able to push the pace in the later rounds. And that's exactly what happened. The thing is that Jon Jones didn't get the finish in the 4th or 5th round. But Jon Jones, without a doubt, won the 4th round and the 5th round. And so then at the end, I had a 48-47 scorecard for Dominic Reyes. So let's talk about a couple things here. One, there is no champion's advantage in MMA. So for people that are saying, oh, but he didn't take the belt, he doesn't have to. It's an athletic competition. It's a fair, level playing field. There is no championship advantage. So Jon Jones lost, in my opinion, Jon Jones lost 3 out of 4 rounds, or 3 out of 5 rounds, I'm sorry. And that would make Dominic Reyes the champion. Now, my friend who I was with when we were watching the fights scored the card for Jones. He had it 3-2 Jones. And I can understand that. I definitely think the first round was Reyes. I definitely think the 4th and 5th rounds were Jones. I personally think that the 3rd round was Reyes. The 2nd round is really the round in this fight that, determined it for me. It was a very close round. So if you had Reyes winning 3-2, then you're in agreement with me. If you had Jones winning 3-2, I disagree with you, but I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with Jon Jones keeping his belt from this fight, even though I personally thought he lost. But what I do have a huge problem with is the 4-1 scorecard, the 49-46 scorecard. I don't understand how you could possibly watch that fight and think Jon Jones won 4 out of 5 rounds. That's not a thing at all. What did he do? He definitely won the 4th and 5th round, but apart from that, he would get takedowns and then Reyes would get right up. He didn't, this is what I was saying about the Ilir Latifi and Derek Lewis fight on the night as well, is if you take them down and you control them, but you're not passing guard at all, you're not passing guard, you're not landing strikes on the ground, you're not doing anything to your opponent besides laying on them, that is bullshit for you to win off of that. And Jon didn't do that, but I'm just saying, Jon took him down and didn't do anything to him at all. You can score the takedown for sure, but you can't, like the Derek Lewis fight, you can't just discount Derek Lewis landing the punches and kicks and knees that he did land or almost land, and the aggressiveness he was showing on the feet. And Alir Latifi just shooting for his life, holding on for his life, and not moving. Like, he didn't pass Derek Lewis's guard once, I don't think. I could be wrong. I only watched it on the night. But, like, yeah, so with that, how that correlates to John Jones's fight is, like, John was taking him down, and John said in the octagon after the fight that he thought that he won due to his takedowns. That's bullshit to me. I don't have a problem with John winning 3-2. I just don't see it that way. I think Reyes won 3-2. But don't tell me that it was 4-1, and don't tell me that John won because of his takedowns, because he did nothing with them at all. At all. He didn't threaten a submission. He didn't do anything. He didn't ground and pound him at all. He didn't, no rounds ended with John on top and, the round ends. Like, no. Every time he got taken down, Dominic Reyes got back to his feet. And Dominic Reyes landed the hardest strikes in the fight, in my opinion, by far. Dominic Reyes controlled the first round. Dominic Reyes literally won the fight, in my opinion. He won the first 3 and he lost the last 2. And I heard Ariel Helwani say this. The 5th round is not more important than the first round in scoring, in terms of scoring. Now, if you want to say, asking me, like, if the fight was 6 or 7 rounds long, who do you think would have won, judging off what I was seeing? Absolutely John Jones. John Jones was dragging him into deep water. He was just trying to survive, Reyes, and Jones was pushing the pace. And, I definitely, if that fight was to continue longer, would have saw John Jones winning. Problem is, that's not how MMA fights work. MMA fights for the championship or main event are 5 rounds, and if you win 3 of the rounds and it goes to decision, then you win the fight. Doesn't matter what we think would have happened. We could have saved what we think would have happened for the rematch. But I just don't like that, man. I don't like that decision. I'm okay with John winning, but the 4-1 is bullshit. And, it's not cool. I had another thing I wanted to bring up. So, John Jones is now going to fight the winner of Corey Anderson and Jan Blachowicz this weekend. But really, like, Dominic Reyes deserves the title shot, in my opinion, because he is the guy who beat John Jones for me. He definitely beat him. I saw it. Like, I can see why you would score at 3-2. I had it 3-2 Reyes. I could see how you could score at 3-2 Jones, but I don't know, man. I don't like that. It leaves a sour taste in my mouth. If anything, just call it a draw and, have them run it back. But for them to give John a unanimous decision win at that, because even the Thiago fight was a split decision, but he has a unanimous decision win over Dominic Reyes, who, from what I'm seeing, most people, the majority of people, I'd say 75% of the shit I see is John Jones losing the fight in people's eyes. These judges, there's only 3 of them. I think that's a problem. And then, like, where are your qualifications for judging a fight? I have no fighting experience in mixed martial arts. I do not train mixed martial arts actively. I am purely a fan. I am not a journalist, even though that would be a cool gig. I'm not a journalist. I didn't go to school for it. I feel I'm just as intelligent in terms of watching the fights and judging what is happening as the judges are, clearly. Because, one of the judges had James Krause losing the first round in his fight. Go watch that fight. If you're somebody who didn't watch the prelims, go watch that fight. It's ridiculous. And I believe that's the same judge that ruled it 4-1 for Jones. It's just crazy, man. Like, it's not fair. It's really not. And then we also have to bring up the fact that John Jones has had 3 razor-close decisions go his way in his career. So when you talk about John Jones being undefeated, I don't know. He's pretty fortunate, because I thought Jones won the Gustafsson fight. In my opinion, I thought Jones won. But either way, it was close. A lot of people thought Gustafsson won. The Santos fight, at the end of it, when we were awaiting the scorecards, I honestly didn't say who I thought won because I just didn't know. It was a very close fight, and I was very impressed by Thiago that he was able to fight that way. And now I remember what I was going to say about Jones. Just let me finish what I'm saying, and I'll jump into it. And the Reyes fight, which it was just the fight I thought he lost. I definitely thought he lost that fight. But one thing I will say about Jon Jones on the night, UFC 247, how about the composure of Jon Jones? Jon was able to withstand the hard shots, and he never got rattled. He never got overly aggressive. He never felt like he needed to get the points back right away. And he also quite possibly could have been losing 3-0, and he never wavered. He stuck to his game plan. He knew that he was the championship guy who's had all these 5-round experiences, and he knew that he was eventually going to be able to wear this young guy out. And that's exactly what he did. And the composure of Jon Jones was just great on the night. That's the first thing I said when I got in the car to go home after the fight, is like, man, like, the guy just really showed what a champion's all about. He stuck to the game plan. He didn't get rattled. But, in my opinion, he lost. Let me know your guys' opinions. Like and subscribe if you see this. And, we're going to be talking about some more fights coming up. We'll be talking about this card this weekend. And, that's it for now. Thanks, guys.